The biggest things I want to say is congratulations to all of you for reaching this graduation day. I know that this is demanding both in terms of time and content, and I applaud you for participating and giving yourself the gift of engaging in this program. But perhaps more importantly, I want to say thank you to every one of you for participating in this program for reasons that I'll explain. Boston Future Leaders is a signature program of the Chamber's Learning and Development portfolio. Over the years, it's championed hundreds of emerging and promising leaders as they navigate their professional and personal journeys. And there's many people around town in various positions who will tell me that they participated 5 years ago or 7 years ago and 10 years ago that are in quite prominent positions. So it's fulfilling for us to be able to have those conversations and have people remember their experience in this program. And I know that I'll be running into some of you in the future and having similar conversations. The reason we do it is because we're committed to building an innovative and equitable future for Boston and Massachusetts. And all of you, Boston Future Leaders Program grads, are part of making that future possible. That's why we do this. We want you to embrace leadership. We want you to understand yourself, your talents, and what you have to offer beyond the day-to-day job that you have towards making Boston and Massachusetts the best place for all businesses and all people to succeed. That's what we view as part of our mission. And that's why I say thank you for participating in this program. And thank you for what you will do in terms of providing leadership in our city and our state. I had a great time this year being a judge at the Leadership Challenge. I have a passion for the MBTA, as some of you sort of know about. So I got to personally witness your hard work, the analysis, the expertise, the presentation skills that people brought to the table. Really one of the things I walked away with, and I know that Phil-Ing and I shared, was the feeling that our work matters, that you all dedicated the time, effort, and energy to make those recommendations because you do care about the success of our public transportation system in the T. And that was a palpable feeling that we both got from that. So I look forward to seeing all of you reach new heights, as I said. Thank you for being part of the class of 2025 Boston Future Leaders, and I hope that you will network after the ceremony to celebrate your success and feel like this was a rewarding experience to you. A couple of tasks I have. One starts with thanking our program sponsor for the third year. I understand that there was a test that you were given in terms of who was the sponsor, and I don't know if you know your score. Did you report back the score on that test question that you asked about who the sponsor was?
95%.
95%. So National Grid, our presenting sponsor, thank you. National Grid continues to make this program possible. And I do know that, they have a strong interest in, like we do, promoting the future leaders of Greater Boston and Massachusetts. So much so that our keynote address today will be delivered by my friend and Pinnacle Award winner, Lisa Whelan, the president of National Grid of New England, who, in and of herself, I'm not gonna do her introduction, although I could without any notes. She's an amazing person, amazing leader in our community, and I know that her story in and of itself is one that is inspiring, and I hope she's able to share some of her learning experience and her journey during her remarks today. But Lisa, National Grid, thank you. Employees join me in thanking National Grid. I mentioned the Leadership Challenge. I do want to thank Secretary of Transportation and General Manager Filling. He got, one of the things you learn about doing a good job is that it doesn't go unpunished. You get more work to do. Some of you may have experienced that, but already in your careers. But I was talking to the governor about this just yesterday, and said, "How's Phil doing?" She said, "Well, I did what everyone does. Someone's doing a good job, you give them more work to do." So Phil has his work cut out for him, but as busy a guy as he is, he made time for us and made time for you. And we're thankful for that. We're thankful for Danny Levy, the Chief Customer and Employee Experience Officer, and David Perry, the Director of Ferry Operations. Grateful for them to take the time to be our partner this year. You already know our learning and development team, but I'll tell you, I couldn't be more proud of the team that we have at the Chamber who work on this program and our Women's Leadership Program and other programs offered by the Chamber, led by Erin, who over the past 3 years has revamped the curriculum. One of the things about programs like this is they have to be current. They have to be contemporary. You can't just press the replay button every year. You have to make them fresh. You have to understand, what's going on in the world and in what ways do people, want to engage. And Erin, each and every year has certainly done this, expanded the Leadership Challenge into a capstone experience, then introduced her own sessions on innovative communication and visual arts. So, please join me in thanking Ellen. And, she's joined by our Senior Program Manager, Colin Wilson, who has ensured smooth operations of the program, recruitment, selection of participants, and brings a warm hospitality during each class, and make sure my microphone works. So, Colin, thank you for all that you do. This summer, we welcomed a third person to the team, Kelsey Archer Merriam, who is just a fresh face, fresh ideas, contributing already, even though she hasn't been here that long, to give us thoughts on improving the attendee experience and how we can continue to move the program forward. So Kelsey, thank you. So with that, I will conclude, and I will, end by where I started, which is congratulations from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I look forward to just hearing the journey continue for each of you, learning about ways in which you will do great things for this city and for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and for yourself. So enjoy the rest of the program, and I'll turn it back to Erin.
Thank you so much, Tim. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to clear this. There we go. All right. There. Okay, great. We're giving control to Colin for the slideshow. Jim just took all the remarks. All right, thank you, Kelsey. We have the timing of this pretty down pat now. So, okay, whew, we're here. We made it. We got through our mini session today. I am so delighted to be here with all of you. And I thought that we could recap the BFL journey, not only for all of you to remember what this experience was like, but also for our participants who are online and tuning in. So, as you all know, here at the Chamber, we are obsessed with making Greater Boston the best place for all businesses and all people to thrive. And one way that we do that is through fostering and developing talent like all of you to keep you here in our fantastic part of the country. As all of you, our participants have heard me say ad nauseum this year, our Boston's Future Leaders program provides emerging and promising leaders with a socially conscious and civically engaged leadership toolkit, blending academic content, practical application, and social capital. Participants will graduate with the skills, experiences, and connections needed to lead Boston into a more innovative and equitable future. Taking on such a program while managing your career goals is no easy feat, as the world around us challenges us with its complexities. But the class of 2025, you all are fantastic. This cohort juggled work and family commitments, job changes, tight work schedules, and pressures and expectations. Members of the class had babies, got married, got promoted, suffered family losses, recovered from surgeries, bought homes. Life happened. Yet each month, this class showed up to each session, ready to engage in stimulating conversation and ready to consider the steps forward for leadership. To the class of 2025, I say this: with so many responsibilities in your personal and professional lives, it is truly admirable that you chose to prioritize your professional growth this year. And we are so proud of you for the ways that you showed up for the program, for each other, and for yourselves. Today, we celebrate all you have accomplished, and we welcome you to an impressive alumni network of other leaders. Now, with this being our last session, and for our supporters, as I said, let's recap the journey. So back at orientation in March, I shared this pyramid of BFL competencies, which are qualities that we help you foster and strengthen through a carefully designed curriculum. We hope that you will take these skills that you learned and go forward to build a better Commonwealth by not only activating talent in an inclusive, equitable, and collaborative way, but by doing it in your own authentic leadership style. So as Jim said, we are proud of the curriculum and experience that we have honed over the past 19 years since the program's beginning. And what makes Chamber L&D programs unique are the things you've heard me say, the three core components: academic content, practical application, and social capital. So in a nutshell, you can advance through the animations. There we go. In a nutshell, it's about equipping participants with the leadership frameworks, skills, goals, and connections to help you refine your vision for your career and for our region. So let's talk about the amount of work and time you put into this program while balancing those personal and professional accomplishments that we talked about. We had 11 required sessions, 1 optional over 10 months. That estimates to about 54 total hours of program time that's off-site from your companies here with us. We're estimating about 40 hours of time spent on the leadership challenge, the pre-work for the sessions, and your IAPs, depending on how much time you had to work during the day. And then, as you all know, the sessions range. Some were all day, and some were as little as 2 hours. And then we met together 9 times in person, with 2 of those sessions being virtual. Now, let's review the path that we took. So throughout the program over the past 10 months, we have emphasized you all as the experts. You shared your artifact exercise at orientation. You analyzed case studies and discussed them at Harvard Business School. You learned about inclusive leadership, adaptive supervision, and innovative communication and visual art with various leadership consultants. And then you put them into practice. You provided well thought out and research recommendations to the MBTA through the Leadership Challenge, as Jim said. You thought strategically about how the T could improve customer experience, contribute to the regional economy, and expand its ferry operational service. And then, to top it all off, you began developing your own tactics and strategies for your individual action projects and implementing something that you designed, which you also beautifully presented today in our mini session right before graduation. You have demonstrated throughout this program that you are the leaders that Boston needs to lead us into the future. Now, I am pleased to formally introduce our keynote speaker, Lisa Wieland, president of National Grid, who I had the pleasure of interviewing as part of our women's leadership program last year. So we are delighted to have her back to be the keynote speaker for all of you today. She is responsible for safe, reliable, and affordable energy delivery to National Grid's customers in New England, overseeing gas and electric operations in Massachusetts and transmission in New England. She is committed to enabling the Commonwealth's energy transition and ambitious climate goals while keeping Massachusetts competitive. Prior to joining National Grid, Lisa served as the Chief Executive Officer of the Massachusetts Port Authority, a complex quasi-public sector organization operating vital transportation assets, including Boston Logan International Airport, Hanscom Field and Worcester Airport, maritime facilities in the Port of Boston, and a large commercial real estate portfolio. During her tenure, Massport completed significant capital projects, including the expansion of Terminal E for international flights, a new post-security connection linking Logan's busiest terminals, the dredging of Boston Harbor, and the modernization of the port's container facilities. No small tasks. Lisa also launched an ambitious net zero plan and expanded the Massport model, a diversity and inclusion initiative in commercial real estate that has become a model for development in the region. Before Massport, Lisa worked as a consultant for Bain & Company, serving clients in the healthcare, medical devices, and consumer products industries. She began her career in broadcast journalism, covering various news and political assignments for CNN. Lisa is a graduate of the University of California, Los Angeles, and received an MBA from Harvard Business School. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Wieland.
Erin, thank you for that generous introduction. And Jim and Erin, thank you so much for having me here today. The Chamber is a vital resource to the business community. It not only connects all of us, but it also does tremendous work with our elected officials and policymakers to really advance so many things that are fundamental to the economic competitiveness of the region. So really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. But more importantly, I want to thank all of you. Because I heard about the time commitment that this program took from all of you. And that's a significant commitment, right? From your families, from your day jobs. But to me, it exemplifies how you're leaning in to being a future leader here in Boston and the Commonwealth, and something that is so vital if we are going to continue on this path forward. So thank you for that commitment and for your commitment to this program. So, when I was asked to speak today, I was asked to talk about kind of my leadership journey and my career, and Erin did a lovely job of describing my bio. And frankly, when people hear about my background, they can never quite connect the dots. They're like, I don't understand CNN, Massport, now National Grid. How does this all come together? And so what I thought I would do is I would kind of share not only that journey with you, but what are those core kind of themes that weave it all together that might be beneficial as you think about your next steps in your career journey. So yes, I did start my career as a broadcast journalist at CNN. Behind the camera, not in front of the camera, because I had an opportunity to do an internship when I was in undergrad, and I realized that my skill sets were much more conducive to all of the things that happen behind the camera. But when you're a kid growing up watching the news with your dad, which is why I went into journalism, I watched the news every night, and I felt so committed to bringing people the information they needed to be able to vote and make decisions in their lives. And so that's what led me to CNN. And I spent a number of years working on the assignment desk, doing some field producing, primarily in the Los Angeles Bureau, did a stint in Atlanta as well during the 96 presidential election. And it was about 4.5, 5 years into my tenure when Time Warner bought Turner Broadcasting. And I remember the CFO from Time Warner coming out to meet with us. At the time, we were in the midst of covering the O.J. Simpson trial, which many of you in the audience probably don't remember, but might have an inkling of what that was all about. And for those of us who went into journalism, frankly, we hated it. But ratings were through the roof. The network was making a ton of money off the Simpson trial. And I remember the CFO distinctly saying, "We are in the news business. Those terms are not distinguishable. And if you don't like it, get out." So I kind of took a step back and said, well, gee, I kind of know this news thing. I don't know anything about business. And if this is the future of media, I probably ought to learn about business. So that is what led me to Harvard Business School. And before I take it from there, I want to highlight kind of three things as I think about the narrative that weaves my career together. The first is that I said yes to unexpected opportunities. As I did so, I shored up my safety net, both personally and professionally. And the third is I strive to remain true to my values and what mattered most to me. So as I talk about where I went from CNN to HBS, hopefully some of those themes will come through. So the 2 years at HBS were incredible. I actually thought I would go back to news media and work on the business side instead of the editorial side. But I discovered this whole new field of consulting and realized that I probably needed to shore up my business foundation a little bit more. And so that's what led me to think about taking a job in consulting. And I looked at all the major strategic firms, and the thing that mattered most to me was who are the people that I get to work with, and did they embody the culture and the values that I would want to experience. And that's why I chose to go work for Bain. Had a tremendous experience there, working with a lot of different clients in a number of different sectors that Aaron mentioned. And I was about to get promoted. I was about to have my second child. And I took a step back and I said, you know what? I love this firm. I don't know that I love consulting. What do I do next? And what's the safety net around me to afford me an opportunity to make a different decision? So I decided I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. I was going to take time off, and I was going to experience what that was like. And I turned to my safety net, my husband, who then would have to be the breadwinner for the family. I turned to my peers from HBS, the little group that I had put together to get their viewpoints. And, a lot of people had taken time off. They didn't think it was a big deal. They just said, don't take a ton of time off. My husband said, it's fine. We'll figure it all out. So I embarked on that stay-at-home mom job, which for those of you who've been a stay-at-home mom, it is the hardest job you'll ever do. And it's not always as rewarding as you think it might be when you have 2 under 2 at home. And so about a year into that, I got a call from a former Bain colleague. She had taken a job at Massport, and she called me up and said, I'd like you to think about coming to work at Massport. I said, what's Massport? I have no idea what that is. She explained to me it was in transportation and government. I learned that it also had an economic development role to play. So I thought it was pretty interesting. The CEO at the time was a gentleman by the name of Craig Coy. He had been brought in to turn around Massport post 9/11, and he was trying to bring a private sector mentality to a public sector entity. So I met Craig. I liked him. I liked the people I had met at Massport. So I decided I'd say yes. I took a job as an internal business consultant, thinking I'd be there for 2 to 3 years, because that's kind of the value proposition of those roles in corporations. And over the next 17 years, had an array of incredible opportunities presented to me. The first was in the HR department. So I had worked on a number of HR-related projects for the CEO. There was a new HR director, and he turned to me and said, why don't you come work with me in HR? Kind of gotten a sense that it was time for me to do something else. So what did I do? I turned to my professional safety net, and I asked my friends from HBS, what do you think? Should I do a stint in HR? Is anyone in here in HR, by the way? Okay. So don't be offended when I first say this.
That's probably wrong.
The reaction from my HBS classmates is, smart people don't go into HR. That's a career killer. You turned down a promotion at Bain and you're going to go work in HR? What are you thinking? Step back. I thought, what is most important to me and my family right now? Most important to me and my family is that I do something meaningful. I like the head of HR. I've met the people in his department. I think I'd get some reward out of this. I think I can add unique value. And it'd be great for my family because I wouldn't have to travel. I'd be able to have a job that allowed me to contribute, but also be a mom that I wanted to do. So I said yes. And I'll come back to why I think it was one of the best jobs I ever had and why I recommend anyone who wants to lead an organization, if you want to be a CEO, I highly recommend that you do a stint in HR and the people function. So I did that for a number of years. Fast forward, Massport gets a new CEO, a gentleman by the name of Tom Glynn. He and the board decide that they're going to make significant investments in our maritime division. And the woman who was running it was a scientist by trade. She had no business background. And the board and Tom said, I think we need someone to go help her lead this strategic initiative that we've just launched. They turned to me and I said, I don't know anything really about running a port or being a part of maritime, but I'll raise my hand. I'll say yes. Okay. So I went and I joined her. Unfortunately, she got terribly ill and had to leave. And that's when I was asked to step into the role as port director. Again, not having any maritime experience, never running a container terminal, never having run a cruise terminal before. But I turned to my safety net. My husband said, I'll be there to take care of our kids when you're traveling in Asia to meet with customers or heading off to Europe to negotiate new contracts. So I made sure that as I said yes, I had that safety net all synced up. A couple of years later, Tom had retired and the board was searching for a new CEO. Frankly, I was approached and I said, oh, thank you so much. I'm completely flattered, but no, thank you. I couldn't envision stepping into these shoes of someone who was a legend, as Jim knows, who had done such amazing things at the port. But I was encouraged to lean in. So I threw my hat into the ring and I said, yes, I'll consider this. And the board selected me to be the next CEO of Massport. What I was tasked with at the time was to manage exponential growth across our aviation, maritime, and commercial real estate portfolio. The business was doing this, and we not only had to figure out how to manage that growth, implement our strategic plan, but also think about what we would do next. 6 months into that job, COVID hit. And rather than managing this, I was managing this. I was in the office every single day during COVID with our team, figuring out how we were going to keep this organization afloat, how we were going to enable this incredible economic development entity to perform post-COVID, to enable the Commonwealth to come out of it. And as I thought about that challenge, I was so grateful for the people that I had to work with, the people that when I decided to take the job at Massport embodied the culture and the passion and the dedication for what they did that came out just absolutely shining in the pandemic because they were there with me each and every day, even when we had to make the hard decisions about laying people off in the middle of a pandemic, which frankly was the hardest decision I've ever had to make as a leader. And the only way I could do it is for two reasons. One, I was surrounded by an incredible team of people that I really enjoyed working with. And two, because of that stint I had done in HR, I understood the organization. I knew every single role across the authority, and I knew what it meant. And I knew where the gaps in our organization were going to be. Without that stint in HR, without having said yes to that unexpected opportunity, and without making sure that I was working for an organization with the right values, I would not have been able to lead the organization through COVID. We got through COVID, as we all know, as you all did. And as we started our climb out and we were getting close to finishing the implementation of our strategic plan, I got a call about an opportunity at National Grid. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I kind of said, I've never worked in utility. I don't know anything about the energy sector. But I thought about the fact that it was, you know, operating critical infrastructure where safety and security are paramount, highly regulated industry that has to be customer focused. And at the end of the day, it's an economic enabler for the Commonwealth and the region. I again turned to my safety net, and my colleagues, friends from HBS said, you can do this. Why wouldn't you do this? You've accomplished everything that you wanted to do at Massport. And my husband said, I'll lean in again. He's got a busy job in investment management, but he knew this would be an incredibly busy job for me. But he said, I'll take care of all the responsibilities on the home front. Go do this. And it's been an incredible experience. I've been at National Grid for 2 years. As you heard Jim say, we're a sponsor of this program. There are a number of our colleagues here in the audience. And when I think about saying yes to that unexpected opportunity, thinking about how I shored up my safety net to do it, and then coming back to, as I was doing my due diligence, making sure, is this a company that embodies the values that I believe in, that I would want to work for? Does it have the people who are dedicated and passionate about what they do each and every day? I learned very explicitly how true that was 3 weeks into my job. 3 weeks into my job, a member of the public intentionally drove their vehicle into one of our work sites in Waltham, killing our colleague Rod Jackson and Officer Paul Tracy from the Waltham Police Department, who was performing the detail. As a new leader in the organization, I can't tell you how I felt. The organization didn't know me. I barely knew the organization. Yet this was an incredible, incredible tragedy that hit us and in a very public way. And I got through it because of the quality of the team that I had, because of the values that National Grid embodies, and because that whole team pulled through to support each other, to support the families that were impacted as we got through those terrible days. And so when I come back to those themes, thinking about how do you think about career moves and the potential they might give you? How do you say yes to unexpected opportunities? And sometimes lateral moves, not necessarily always upward trajectory. Sometimes they can provide the richest experiences that you'll ever have. As you do so, think about, that safety net. One of the questions that I get asked from young people all the time is, where should I go to college? What's my first job? How should I think about a promotion? I think the most important decision that you'll make is who your life partner is. I am so fortunate that my husband is my biggest champion. I could not have done any of the things that I've done throughout my career without him. And so it's one of the things many of you probably already have chosen your life partners. If you haven't, give it serious consideration because it is a core part of your safety net. And then, the values piece. I've always looked at organizations that have a higher purpose, a mission. I've always valued time over money and making sure that where I put my time, I feel like I can add unique value and that I'm adding that value and working with people who are dedicated and passionate and embody the values that I care about most, because we all spend a ton of time at work and who you do that work with matters. We are in the midst of a massive global transformation, whether that's AI, whether that's the evolving world order, whether that's a change in globalization versus hyperlocalization and the change in capital flows. And you all are going to be at the forefront of that. When I looked at the list of participants here today, I can't tell you how reassured I was about our future, the future of the city and the Commonwealth, because there are so many interesting organizations represented here, people doing incredible things. And so I feel quite confident in our future, knowing you all are going to be leading it. And as you do so, I leave you with 3 questions to ask yourself. How will you lean into unexpected opportunities? What do you need to do to shore up that personal and professional safety network? And how will you stay relentlessly focused on the things that you value most, the things that matter to you most as you make your career journey ahead? So thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Lisa. Such an incredible speaker. Thank you for those inspirational words. It's always an honor to hear you speak and to really take those golden nuggets of advice. I love that she ended with those 3 questions that I'm sure we'll all be thinking about for the weeks to come. So now I am pleased to introduce my colleague, Vanessa Arcangelo, Senior Member Services Manager, to talk more about staying engaged with the Chamber beyond your graduation today. Vanessa.
Hi, everybody. First of all, echoing all the remarks earlier, congratulations, BFL class of 2025. As a learning and development participant and graduate myself, I can absolutely attest to the hard work you've had to put in over the past year. Sorry, got to put in over the past year. No, but truly the dedication and the time commitment. So congratulations to everyone here. So I do want to take a moment today to talk a little bit about staying engaged with the Chamber as a post-grad. All of you have access to the Chamber through your organization's corporate membership, and we love keeping you all engaged with our programs and our events throughout the year. Erin said it at the beginning of this, but the mission of the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce is really to make Boston the best place for all businesses and all people to thrive. And we do that through a number of different ways. First, you may have had a little bit of the sampling this year, but we have so many events throughout the year, well over 100 for all of you to get involved in, whether that is our government affairs forum featuring local, state or city elected officials, our women's network panels and fireside chats, which are managed by Erica Deese, which is one of your program, classmates. Even our City Awake events, which are tailored towards young professionals. All this to say, no matter what your interests are or who you are, there's a seat for you at here at the chamber, waiting for you to join us, including one of our newer program series, which is our Transportation First event series, which I know has a near and dear place in this cohort's heart. Second, I'll talk a little bit about the chamber as we research, develop, and advocate for public policy priorities here in the region. Part of the work we do is through our leadership councils. If you do have any interest in staying engaged with the chamber and our policy front, please find me during the reception. Happy to chat more about keeping in touch and staying engaged through our leadership councils. Third, as you very well know, we do offer a portfolio of leadership development programs just like this, the Women's Leadership Program, as well as half to full day workshops and seminars throughout the year. Please keep an eye out for those. Erin and the team work so hard on creating new ones and promoting them out. We'd love to see all of your faces again. And then finally, I know you heard a little bit about it from one of my colleagues, Amber Haskell, but the Chamber of Commerce Foundation is the charitable nonprofit arm of the chamber. And, we really work to make sure that our workforce and talent development initiatives, as well as our small business growth in the Commonwealth initiatives are, highlighted through our foundation work. Finally, the best way to stay in touch as a postgrad is to opt in for our newsletter. Really stay in the loop on all these opportunities as you move forward and, pass the baton as you graduate, bring a friend to these programs and stay engaged. But congratulations again, keep in touch. Don't be a stranger. We can't wait to see all the work that you all do next. And with that, I will invite Kelsey Archer-Merriam back up to the podium to chat a little bit about staying engaged, specifically through alumni engagement.
Hey, everyone. Once you walk out of here today, certificate in hand, they are already on the table, you will join a prestigious group of Boston Future Leaders alumni, comprised of professionals who graduated from the very first class in 2006, all the way to your class 2025. We encourage you to stay involved in this network of passionate leaders as you continue to tackle problems and provide solutions for your companies, communities, our city, and our region. Besides staying in touch with your classmates and project teams on your own, the Chamber provides a variety of ways to maintain alumni engagement, from a BFL alumni private LinkedIn group to regular social events around the city to volunteer roles as speakers on panels. There are plenty of opportunities for you to be involved in the years to come. More specifically, our Learning and Development Advisory Committee convenes alumni from both the Chamber's flagship programs, so Boston Future Leaders and Women's Leadership Program, to foster ongoing community connections and amplify the impact of Chamber initiatives by supporting recruitment, collaboration, and feedback for continuous improvement. LDAC maintains the momentum of the professional development programs by providing an opportunity for alumni to stay connected to each other and to lead and be involved in their chamber network. Committee meetings take place monthly and term limits are 2 years. Our LDAC members are committed, passionate alumni who have helped with such projects as assisting with development of a 5-year L&D strategic plan, planning and executing alumni networking events, and aiding in recruitment of future BFL or WLP participants. By January, we will be looking to fill 4 seats on the Learning and Development Advisory Committee. So please talk to me or Erin or Colin if this opportunity is appealing to you at all. And even if serving on LDAC isn't something that have the capacity to pursue at the moment, we really hope that we will see you at future events and that you will stay in touch with the L&B staff as well as with the chamber and your fellow classmates. With that, I will pass it over to Colin Wilson.
All right, we made it. We're here. As a class, you've overcome challenges we couldn't have imagined at the start of this program, and you didn't wait to make a difference. And it is exactly that level of grit, determination, adaptability, and innovation that we will need to continue our work of making Greater Boston the most welcoming and inclusive place to work. The future is always uncertain, and you will use the skills you learn to shape your organization and region for the better. It's been my pleasure to produce this program and be a part of the journey with you. You may have seen our digital content creator, Abigail, around with the camera at the Leadership Challenge. She recorded some footage and developed our official graduation video, which we're excited to share with you now. After the video, please, we will ask all graduates to stand up for some hooting and hollering. Please join me in congratulating the Boston Future Leaders class of 2025 by typing in a note of congratulations in the chat on Zoom as their names are displayed during the video. And here we go. Let's hope it plays.
Congratulations, Chambers Boston Future Leaders graduate. I'm Jim Rooney, President and CEO of the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. Boston's Future Leaders is a pillar of the Chamber's efforts to support and invest in our young professionals community. This is how we fulfill our commitment to uplift our region's emerging leaders. You are our future. You are building the next chapter of the Chamber, the city, and the Commonwealth. Now, as you return to your workplace with new connections, experiences, and expertise, remember to utilize your powerful leadership skills to advance your workplace and the broader business community. Find opportunities to demonstrate initiative when faced with challenges. Collaborate with your colleagues across industries and sectors, and ensure that the future of our commerce in this region is inclusive and diverse. With that, I invite your cohort as alumni of Boston Future Leaders to stay connected to the Boston Chamber. Boston and the Commonwealth will be stronger because of the impact you will have.
Look at my face.
Oh, got real quiet. Let's have all of you stand up and face the both cameras that we have to let the people online cheer for you. So stand up, face the camera, everyone clap and cheer. All right, you can sit back down for 2 more minutes before we pop the champagne. The comments coming in, which this is being recorded and we'll be sharing that with all of you and share the chat too so that you can see the comments. But they really indicate the pride and joy that your supporters feel. And it's been so fun to see them pop up as we play the video. Now for some final gratitudes. Once again, I'd like to thank National Grid, our program sponsor, and the MBTA, our Leadership Challenge partner. In addition, I would like to extend a personal thanks to Colin Wilson for his enthusiasm and collaboration throughout BFL, as well as Kelsey, who jumped in right away as soon as she started back in June. And also thank you to our broader chamber team, some of whom you have met along this journey and will hopefully meet at events to come. Thank you to all of the supporters and loved ones who joined online today. Your support means so much. And of course, thank you to all of you, all of our participants, for your dedication to the program over the past 10 years. It makes our job such a joy and a pleasure. So last thing I want to say is that although the BFL program ends today, I hope your commitment to supporting one another, to advocating for yourself, and to creating the conditions for others to thrive in your workplace and your life never does end. We can't wait to see what you do next, as Vanessa said, and know that the Chamber will be here for you every step of the way. The city and the region are in excellent hands. This concludes our graduation ceremony. Congratulations once again, class of 2025.